Welcome back, everybody. Um, I had a company in mind that I wanted to talk about, but I was watching a video yesterday that that I really liked, and so I figured I'd talk about that instead. And so I just put it out on Twitter. There was a video that basically just put all of Kobe Bryant's thoughts into like laws, and it was just like a compilation of the interviews that he had. And so I just wanted to share that for all my athletes, and just watching that video, it just hit me how much Kobe had an impact on my life, the way I carry myself, the way I try to be detail oriented in the game, attention to detail, just the way I approach the game. Just watching him, he was the first player I ever watched from start to finish. And so I thought that video was really cool. So I had an idea of coming up here and talking about a company, but when I watched that last night, I thought it would be more impactful to kind of share that video for the athletes out there that's looking for inspiration. I think it has so many different laws, so many different ways that you think about the game and just try to be great. I think everybody saw how amazing a person he was. And then the thing that kind of stood out the most to me was from the outside looking in, we saw Kobe just really, really locked in on basketball to the point where we thought that that's all he did. And as he retired and you saw all the other stuff, you realized he had been writing for 17 years. He had been doing, looking into videos and all those different things. So I say that to say that even someone who was super locked in, super focused on his craft still found time to master something else. And so that's what I would like to encourage athletes as they're embarking on their journey, whatever sport they're in, regardless of your craft that you're trying to perfect. Just understand and keep an open mind that there's other things to be mastered, that we are not a one-shot pony. We can be more than just athletes. And so that's my piece today.
What do you think Kobe resonates with today's athletes as much as he does?
The reason why I think is because of his hard work. And what I mean by that is, you see a guy like LeBron James, he's like, 6'10", freakishly athletic. You see a guy like Michael Jordan, kind of same. He has just attributes that God blessed him with. Kobe had similar attributes, but he had a work ethic that anytime you talk about Kobe Bryant or somebody who was around Kobe Bryant, you talked about his work ethic. And so he gave us the formula, not just in your sport, but in business or in art. He showed you, the level of focus that you have to really be good and excel at something. And so I think that's why he resonates, because, anybody can apply that to anything in their life. It's not just basketball that you can apply that level of focus to. You can apply it to many different things that you want to master. And so I think that's why he resonates, because even if you watch that video, a lot of the stuff that he's saying, he's talking about basketball, but you can apply that to anything in life. And so I think that's why he resonates, because although he played basketball, he was more than just what he was doing on the court.
A lot of this comes back to consistency, and whatever you are going to work on consistently. What's the hardest part about being consistent?
People get bored with it. Doing the same thing every day or trying to be consistent. A lot of times people get bored with it, and so they stray from it. Or, even in the video, you have a conversation with yourself. It's always like a negotiation where you commit to something and you're saying you're going to do it every day, but then you have those 1 or 2 days where it's like, maybe I'm going to take a couple reps off. Maybe I'm going to take this day off. Maybe my body needs this rest. And so it's a constant battle with your inner self. And, a lot of people can't handle that battle. But, if you can sustain a level of consistency, then we have a lot of examples in this world. It works out really well for you.
You've long talked about consistency being so important to you. When in your career did you kind of understand the importance of that? Was it in the NFL, in college, or when did you kind of understand that it wasn't just about being talented or doing this and that it had to be consistent?
I would probably say that I probably started in like high school to college, give or take, but I probably didn't have the words to describe what I was doing. I didn't understand or what I was doing or describe what I was doing until I got into the league. I think in high school, college, if I ate a certain meal or did a certain workout and I had a good game, I would just try to do it over again and try to recreate that moment all the time. And then as I got older, I understood that that was like my routine that I was creating to get me in the best either physical or mental mindset to play the game at a high level. And so I would probably say I was able to put it in words when I got to the league.
When have you had moments where you have gotten bored or anything, or have you at any stretch where you point where you had to work through that?
Nah, I don't think there's ever been a point because a lot of consistency is about growth. And so I feel like the moment that I stop wanting to grow is when I walk away. And so I haven't felt like that. There's still aspects of my game that I feel I can get better at. There's still parts of my body I can get stronger. There's still things that I could do. So I haven't been bored because there's so much growth that's still out there for myself.
In terms of preparing yourself or other athletes for life besides athletics, how good a job do you think Division I athletics do to prepare you and your peers for doing something besides sports?
I don't think they focus on that, to be honest. That's not something that, at least when I was in college, we didn't talk about that. We just talked about making sure you got good grades so you can be eligible to play the sport that you're playing, and that was it. And then once the university was kind of done with you, it was kind of like, all right, well, find a way to use the degree that you got. Kind of same thing with the league. It's a lot of the time we spend focus on being good at our craft, understanding that we only got a short lifespan, and so we got to put all our energy into this. But I don't think they focus on that. There's a lot of things that I think in life and just period, like with the system, the schooling system and things of that nature, they don't prepare you for what you have to do, like real life. Like I didn't have anything, well, to my degree, we talked about finances, but I didn't know how to write a check until I got to college. There are certain things that are day-to-day things that people do every single day that we don't get taught until later on in life. And so I would encourage us to look at what do we actually use every single day and start teaching that to kids younger. In fourth grade, I had a teacher that told me that we needed to learn cursive. And once we learned cursive, we were going to use that for the rest, and they were never going to accept anything other than cursive. I think fourth grade was the last time I did cursive. I know how to write a J in cursive, but outside of that, in my name. But, I don't use cursive at all. And so I think it just focused on stuff that we actually use every day, I think would go a long way.
You talk about consistency. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have certainly been that. What is the best formula for keeping them in check or shutting them down?
I think you got to find a way to make them one-dimensional. And, you got to get in Aaron Rodgers' face. You can't just let him sit back there and just pick you apart. He's really smart, definitely knows where to throw the ball when he needs to. They have a very, very, very good running game that complements everything that they're trying to do. And so we got to take something away. You can't let them run the ball because once he runs the ball, then it opens up the play actions, open up, lanes down the field to let him do what he does a really good job at. And so, I think the teams that have played them best have found ways to bottle them up and, stop the run game to an extent.
100 tackles. I mean, you're 7 away from doing that for a 10th straight year. Just going back, maybe the consistency part of it. Just what does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's just more. It's just consistency. Honestly, it's something that I don't like. I'm grateful for. It's not always in the forefront of my mind. I feel like it's not a hard task to do if you don't get bored with consistency. And so, I think it's cool, but. We got a lot of stuff that we need to fix that's more important than that to me.
You guys have been pretty good, though, defensively on third downs lately. What do you attribute the improvement there to?
I just think understanding the situation. I think being more aggressive on the shorter third downs, being more sticky in our coverages in the later third downs. I think that's all a combination of why I feel like we're playing better. And I think it's just important, especially those downs, is the more we get off the field, the more the offense has an opportunity to score. So I think that's our mindset. We got to get off the field, and that's what we weren't doing early in the season. They were converting on those third downs, and we were having these long drives, and it could tire our defense out. And so I think you're seeing us getting off the field, being more fresh and able to execute better.
You mentioned like Nipsey, Kobe, Jay, and some other people. Who are some other people besides those who I just named that when they speak or release some type of content, you have to go consume it or listen to?
Who'd you mention?
Nip, Kobe, and Jay.
Those are my top for sure. I think whenever Will Smith put out content, I definitely go check it out. I like Oprah, whenever she put out content. Ava DuVernay, I like when she put out content. She's very creative. Magic, when he does stuff, a lot of people try to be like Magic, His transition was pretty sick. Those are people that come to the top of my head. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people that I'm missing. There's people that I'm studying, like Reginald Lewis is a person I'm studying. Robert Smith is a person that I'm studying. Different people in the field that I'm trying to get into are people that I'm looking at and trying to study. But, I still I listen to Nipsey every single day. I try to watch a Kobe interview every single day. I like Kevin Hart's interviews. I think those are pretty dope. So, and then Jay-Z's Jay-Z.
With Rodgers.
What makes him so good at drawing opponents offsides?
I think he understands the down and distances for sure. So you see with him, if they convert like a third down, or if they convert like a second down, and that third down you try to get your pass rushers in, he's really good at getting everybody lined up, and he always hikes the ball while somebody's running off the field. So that's something we definitely got to be conscious of. But with that, I just think he has a good understanding of the play clock, and guys are looking at the play clock, and he doesn't mind waiting until the last second to hike the ball. And so sometimes defenders get antsy, and they think that because he has 2 seconds left that he has to hike the ball. Sometimes he waits until the very last second. And so I think he's just really smart and really creative when it comes to that.
When you're preparing to play him, do you have like the scout team quarterback try to emulate that type of stuff?
Not really, because he doesn't do it every play. It's like, a rare moment when he does it, and that's the critical moment. So I think it's more so just a reminder thing, like throughout the game, just constantly reminding of the down and distance and these moments that he's going to try to run it, change personnels and try to line up quick. He's going to try to get you off sides, and so just throughout the whole game, regardless of how many plays you have to communicate that that's a play that they're looking for. They're not trying to get, if we have 60 snaps, they're not trying to, do it all 60 snaps, but those 2 or 3 snaps that they do it could be very critical moments.
Bob, you mentioned the need for you guys to get off the field. You guys are last in time of possession on average throughout this point in the season. Just how have you seen that manifest itself? What kind of a strain does that put on both sides of the ball, both the offense not having enough plays to run, you guys getting tired and staying out there all the time, and how do you kind of try to get back on the right side of that?
Yeah, obviously, the longer you're out there, the more plays you have. The more guys you have to rotate, things of that nature, and then the less opportunities for the offense have to put points on the board. So it's something that we definitely have to be mindful of. I think we've definitely improved from the beginning of the season till now. Obviously, we still have a ways to go, and probably why the numbers are so slighted. But I feel like the last few weeks we've done a good job of having 3 and outs, getting off the field, creating turnovers, and we just have to do more of that.
The Packers teams you played there have been pretty good, but do you notice a common thread to why you haven't won at Lambeau?
No, I don't know. I think this is a great time to change it. I think that'll be cool. It's been very cold out there. I can't really say why. There's a reason, but it's a hard place to play, a place that you have to be focused in, and a place where you're going into their backyard with a very smart and experienced quarterback that doesn't have our crowd or anybody to distract him. He kind of controls everything in that stadium, and so the odds typically are stacked against you. But I like our odds this week. Sherm podcast was cool. I like talking to Sherm. Sherman's a great person, a very interesting mind for sure. So when he called me and asked me to do it, I definitely was, I had hours to spare, so hopped on with him.
You guys have the bigger pond at their house.
He has a bigger pond because he made his pond. So his was man-made, and he put fish in his pond. Technically, I don't have a pond. There's a lake back there, but I didn't put it there. God put it there. I just had land that just is next to that. But he had enough money to make his pond and put fish, kind of create his own thing. I didn't really do that. That just was there when I got it. So technically, he has a bigger pond, if you think about it.
When guys switch teams like that, do you have time to go back and watch their game specifically, like KJ or John or anybody like that?
Yeah, I mean, I watch film all the time, so it's. Yeah, I mean, sometimes KJ will ask me to watch the film and check it out, so I'll check it out. I mean, it's, like I said, I'm always staring at film anyway, so it doesn't hurt to spare 20, 30 minutes to look and see what he's doing, what they're doing schematically, things of that nature. I enjoy watching football, so it's like watching Monday Night Football with no commentators.
Obviously, you're very familiar with Rodgers, playing against him a number of times. He's expected to be available on Sunday, but still not 100% certain. How does that impact the process, trying to prepare for multiple quarterbacks, especially when Jordan Love's only played in one start?
Well, if he's going to play, you prepare for him for sure, because he's a guy that has the whole playbook opened up, and a lot of the times he can come to the line, and he can look at a defense and change the play based off of what he sees. And so with a younger quarterback, you're not going to get that. So kind of what you see is what you're going to get. It's very rare that a young quarterback is coming up to the line of scrimmage, identifying what coverage we're in, and changing the play. And even if he does it, it's very basic. It's not, if he sees a certain coverage that, maybe see an 8-man box or 7-man box, check to a pass or a run. It's very basic. But with, Aaron Rodgers, he can see a certain safety come down and check a run directly to that. Or, I think it's just more complex. And so when, if the young Utah State quarterback is going to play, then, we understand that the book might open up just a little bit more, but it's not going to be as open as the MVP vet.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.